All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to commence with our state expedited accusation calendar for today, January 8th, 2022 at 2 p.m. I'm going to do a brief roll call. I'm going to call the cases up one by one. I'm just looking to see if the jail is ready to get started. Okay, just give us a few moments. Courtroom 2. Who is prosecuting case Orville Patel? I see Mr. Sullivan's present. Is Alexander?
That'll be me. Good afternoon, Judge. Good to see you.
You too. When I reach your case, I couldn't find any warrants on Odyssey, so please.
Okay.
Thank you. Courtroom 2, good afternoon, sir. Are we ready?
Well, good evening, Judge Law. Yes, we are ready to rock and roll whenever you are.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thank you. Good afternoon, folks. My name is Judge Lal, and we are going to commence with our expedited accusation calendar for today, January 8th. This is a list of criminal misdemeanor cases in which the defendant, soon after being booked at the Fulton County Jail, the prosecutor would have already accused the cases with one or more misdemeanor offenses. So this would be the defendant's initial appearance before a judicial officer, at which time they will be informed of the accusation, the charges therein, who is going to be their counsel, what is their bond if one needs to be set or modified, as well as giving you a reset date if necessary. The reset date at the present time, I believe, unless I'm corrected, is going to be January 20th, 2022. Mr. Jordan?
Correct.
All right, thank you. Folks, if you have an active criminal case against you, I would like you to keep these rights in mind. The first one is the right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. This may be a virtual court, but it's recorded as well as live streamed. So please keep in mind that your statements could be documented and used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one of the attorneys from the public defender's office or a conflict defense counsel will represent you. Who do we have in the seat, please?
We have Ms. Bennett, Your Honor, Tracy. Bennett, position number 3.
Thank you. We have State versus Tracy Denise Bennett, 22 CR 00103G. Ms. Bennett is accused of simple battery domestic violence allegedly occurring on January 7th, 2022, involving one Michael Herbert. Ms. Nash, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The defendant has
Go ahead.
The defendant has 3 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was July the 25th, 2003 for stalking, and that was in Douglas County, Georgia. The defendant received first offender treatment, misdemeanor, in 2004 out of Douglas County for stalking. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Duffett, I'm sorry, yes?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yeah.
The state would be recommending a $5,000 surety bond, and that the defendant stay away from the incident location, which is 13085 Morris Road, Milton, and to have no further contact with Michael Herbert. The parties do share a child together. This incident occurred when the defendant struck the victim in the left side of his face, and their 8-year-old son also witnessed the incident. When law enforcement spoke with the defendant, she did admit to striking striking the victim.
All right.
We would also ask that there be no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ford, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. And are you representing Ms. Bennett?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, what is your recommendation?
Oh, Your Honor, we're recommending the signature bond. My client's last offense was 2000, I think it was 2003. It's almost 20 years ago. And she received first offender treatment under that particular offense. My client is 1 year shy of completing college. He's a lifetime resident of the state of Georgia, 46 years old. She is presently job searching, but she does have a consulting business where she does consult with Kirby Vacuum, which she has done in the past. She is the caregiver for her son, who is 9 years old. She will not be living at the address of the incident. The incident took place, or the incident location. She has a vehicle, valid driver's license, Your Honor. She has a stable address that I have here, telephone number. She has tremendous community support. I have a telephone number for her sister. She also has another sister and other friends that will support her in this matter. Like I said, the child is her defendant. She's not a dependent. She's not a risk of flight, Your Honor. Like I said, her last offense was 2003. Not a risk of flight. She is not going to reoffend. As you can see, there's been 20 years. She is definitely will be pleading not guilty in this particular situation because she really feels that she has some defenses in this matter. But we feel that because she needs to get out to be the caregiver, she's not going to be in the same address or location of the complaining witness. We do have a stable address for her where she will be moving, telephone number, email address, Your Honor. I think this case that we're asking for a signature bond, probably about not even a $1,000, but we'll go with $1,000 signature bond, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Herbert, I see that you are on the Zoom conference. Did you, I thought I saw him, or did I mistake that? Did you want to add anything to this proceedings?
Your Honor, and that's Michael Hebert. The R should not be there.
Is he?
Your Honor, I don't want to press any charges against my wife.
All right, if you'd like to start your video, I cannot address you unless I see.
Okay.
You. I have no idea what you look like.
Okay, hold on, ma'am. Like I said, ma'am, I do not want to press any charges against my wife.
All right, understood. Thank you. Are you comfortable with her coming home, or do you all share a residence?
We share a residence, and we're going through a divorce, and so we shouldn't be living together.
All right, thank you. Bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. She is to have no further violent contact with Michael Herbert, no illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, no weapons, and no firearm. She cannot stay at 13085 Morris Road, Milton, Georgia. She can return there one time only to retrieve her personal belongings. And if she has custodial rights to their son, she may, of course, pick him up. Otherwise, once she's released on bond, she must complete a one-day anger awareness class with pretrial services, as well as reapply for their services, and reapply with the public defender's office to see if they will continue to represent her. She has 30 days within her release to update the court with her new address. Do you have any questions, Ms. Bennett?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We both have custody of our son.
So I've allowed you to have no further violent contact, which means that you both can communicate over the phone if you all can come to a resolution as to how you want to do visitation and custody. If you cannot resolve that, then you would have to go through the superior court, either through a divorce or separation proceeding, to ascertain how you would like to establish visitation and custody pending your divorce.
Okay.
I hope you had consulted a domestic attorney in order to hash out these issues.
I will be.
All right. Well, sooner the better. Thank you.
And thank you.
Excuse me,
Next
Your
case,
Honor.
please. Yes.
The host, can you let medical in, please? Whoever the
Your
host-
Honor, was that through pretrial?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Next person is Mr. Kent.
Oh, sorry. No problem.
I'm sorry, Deputy, what was the name?
Mr. Camp And just letting the host know to let medical in, please. And let me give you some updates, Your Honor, before we go to Mr. Camp, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
Okay. There was a female that was on there. She got upgraded to felony. Mr. Morris is on COVID protocol. And everyone else will have. We'll go through. And
I don't have any other female on my calendar other than Miss Bennett, so I'm assuming she didn't go on the calendar. And Mr. Ivan Morris, position 8, you say is on a COVID quarantine, is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
All right. Who will be representing Mr. Morris? Mr. Ford?
No, I believe that's Miss
That's
Helen.
me, Judge.
All right, Miss Helen. Miss Helen, I'm going to reset Ivan Morris to Monday, January 10th at 2 p.m. And if he's still not available, you might want to consider waiving his appearance with regards to this case.
Understood.
All right, thank you. We are going on to the medical unit. Is it? Are they in yet?
Israel, we in. I got
All right.
position 1 and 2.
All right. We have Mr. Suliman Barker. All right.
That's
Mr.
me, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Courtroom
And I was just walking by. and he
Courtroom
was
2,
up
please
on
mute
the
your
street.
screen. And Mr. Barker, I will let you speak, but first, right now, you need to listen to the information. Mr. Suliman Barker, you have 2 cases brought against you. The first one is 22 CR 000093C. And Mr. Barker is charged with criminal trespass and 1 other offense from January 4th, 2022. The second case is 22 CR 000094C, accused of possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce. And this is from a January 7th, 2022. Mr. Barker, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. If you start talking about the facts of your case right now, without your attorney being with you in the same room, anything you say, the prosecutors will use it and use it against you in the treatment of your case. So I highly recommend that you remain silent and let your attorney speak for you. Your attorney is going to be Mr. Charles Ford. And if we can unmute medical, please, for a second. Mr. Barker, I have one question. Have you seen the charge that's been brought against you in case ending in 93C?
It's all a lie. I'm innocent.
All right. I just want to know if you know what the charges brought against
Yes,
you.
I know what he's trying to say.
Okay, great. So
And
please
I
remain
brought-
silent and let your attorney speak for you. Understood? Okay,
Your Honor, I have gone over the charges with Mr. Barker.
thank you.
Bakar.
Mr. Nash, I do see that he has 2 open criminal trespass matters, 20 COB, so on and so forth. Any prior convictions for similar offenses?
No, Your Honor, but he does have a history of criminal trespassing.
All right. Miss Dufford, or is it Miss Dufford?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
The state's recommendation on, do you want me to do both cases at this time?
Yes, I've read the warrants in both cases, so I'm familiar with the alleged facts supporting probable cause. If you'd like to recommend the bond, I'll be glad to hear you.
Sure. On the 22 CR 000093C matter, the state's recommendation is a $7,500 surety bond, $2,500 for the criminal trespass, and $5,000 for the second charge. It is my understanding through his GCIC that he does have an open charge from November 11th, 2021, which is the same as the second charge on this case,
Okay.
where the criminal trespass was originally issued and served upon him. For the possession of marijuana, case 22 CR 000094C, the recommendation is a $2,500 surety bond. We would ask that in addition to the bonds, that the defendant stay away from all murder locations, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ford?
Thank you. Your Honor, we're recommending a signature bond in this matter, or some type of unsecured judicial release. If a surety bond is not, if a signature bond is not something that can be given out, we recommend no more than $250 total bond on these cases. And that would probably be $150 on the one criminal trespass, and no more than $50 on the possession of marijuana and the public indecency. Your Honor, these are non-violent crimes, even though my client has some open cases. Your Honor, those are non-violent crimes as well. He has no ability to pay any type of bond at all, Your Honor. He has no employment at this time. He does have a stable address. I do have a stable telephone number for him. And also I do have a number for his grandfather. So he does have community support. He's a lifetime resident here in the state of Georgia, along with he's 41 years old. Your Honor, I believe this is a situation where if a signature bond can be granted, I think he needs to be out to deal with the other charges that he has that are open at this time, which are similar, which are criminal trespass, and I will not announce the other charge. Also, the possession charge is less than 1 ounce, Your Honor, on the possession of marijuana. So we feel a signature bond, if appropriate, should be granted. If not, a very, very minimum surety bond, Your Honor.
On the possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce in case ending 94C is a $500 signature bond through the jail. On the other two charges from case 93C is going to be $500 each, and that's going to be a surety bond. That's a total of $1,000 surety bond. And the reset date for both cases is January 20th, 2022. Conditions to the bond is to stay away from all MARTA property, no illegal drugs, including marijuana, no alcoholic beverages, no weapons, and no firearms. Next court date is January 20th. Thank you.
Position number 4, Your Honor. In courtroom 2.
We have Adricus Tyrone Camp Sr. charged with theft by taking with regards to an incident from December 19, 2021. And Mr. Kemp, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is going to be Mr. Charles Ford. Ms. Harrison, and excuse me, Ms. Nash, any priors on Mr. Kemp?
The defendant has 2 cycles. The defendant has received first offender treatment in 2001 for forgery in the first degree, and misdemeanor he received in 2006. It was 2 counts of simple assault that he was convicted of. Nothing in addition.
All right, thank you. Ms. Stafford, I've already read the warrant, and based on his criminal record history and the nature of the charges, bond is set at $1,000 signature bond through pretrial services. He will report to pretrial once a month, and he will stay away from 1600 Perry Boulevard, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm assuming that's his former place of employment, right? No illegal drugs, no weapons, and no firearms. And if he gets arrested again for anything else, or if he fails to report or fails to come back to court, then the $1,000 signature bond will convert to either a surety bond or a cash bond. Understood, Mr. Camp?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position number 5, Mr. Hill.
We have Charmaine Edward Hill accused of criminal trespass from January 7th, 2022 at the Three-Way Grocery Store. Mr. Hill's been advised of his right to remain silent, and his attorney is Mr. Ford. Ms. Nash, any priors, please?
The defendant has 16 cycles. The defendant does appear to be on probation. It's an old probation for aggravated assault. That case number is 10 SC 087439. That disposition date was August the 4th, 2011. Confinement 2 years, probation 8 years. Also, the defendant does have an additional felony conviction. It was in 2011 for robbery. The defendant has 2 misdemeanor convictions, one in 2012 for criminal trespassing and one in 2009 for disorderly conduct. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ford, excuse me, Ms. Duffin?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on what the court just heard about the defendant's history, the state would be asking for a $3,000 surety bond. We would also be asking that he stay away from the incident location, which is 1695 Prior Road, Southwest Atlanta, which is the three-way groceries. The defendant was given a criminal trespass warning at this location previously from the same officer that arrived on scene when they were called back out to the incident location. We also, in addition, would ask that he add no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're asking for a signature bond on this or some type of unsecured judicial release. My client is 33 years old. He's a lifetime resident of the state of Georgia. He has no employment at this time. He has no way of posting any type of bond. He is trying to look for employment, but he has not been successful, Your Honor, at this time. I do have a stable address for him. As you will know from pretrial services, his last arrest was 2013. He has nonviolent history, so there's no real threat of reoffending, Your Honor. At this, and he does have community support, and like I said, he's a lifetime resident. Your Honor, we're asking for a signature bond in this matter.
Bond is set at $2,500. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services, providing that he has a valid mailing address. So, Mr. Ford, you have one?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, please send it in the chat to Ms. Nash, as well as to Mr. Michael Jordan at, what was it Fulton County State Court? Yeah, LM Michael Jordan. Okay.
All right, I will definitely do that, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Hill, I
Yes.
don't know if you got the memo the last time, but your bond at the present time is $2,500, but today it's going to be a signature bond. If you violate the conditions of your bond, the next time around is going to be a cash bond only or a surety bond. Do you understand? You have to stay 200 yards away from the grocery store in question. It's called the three-way grocery store at 1695 Prior Street. You cannot be on the sidewalk. You cannot be in the store, and you definitely cannot be entering it to do anything else. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you are back in that store and you get arrested again, please make sure you bring $2,500 back with you. Understood?
Yes.
Your next court date will be sent to you by mail. Make sure that the court clerk's office has a correct address. You can always come to the clerk's office to confirm your mailing address. And just remember, if you get arrested again for anything else, you're back in jail. Report to pretrial once a month. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. Thank you.
Position number 7. Come on.
We have, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing this, is Amide Melis, 22 CR 000096Y. Mr. Melis, you've got 2 charges brought against you. One of them is simple battery. Are you aware of the other charge?
No, ma'am.
All right, Deputy, if we can show him a copy of the other charge brought against him.
Your Honor, I only have 1 charge on the booking sheet.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. I do have it on the.
I did discuss that charge with my client, Your Honor.
All right, maybe this would refresh his recollection.
Okay.
Can you read it? Can you read? Which was?
All right, Mr. Melis, have you seen the 2 charges brought against you?
I have seen one in form of.
Mr. Melis, all I ask is, have you seen the charges?
Yes, I
All
have.
right, that's all I need to know. Thank you. Mr. Melis, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. Any statements you make, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Mr. Charles Ford is representing you, and he will speak on your behalf. You have had a conference with him, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Ms. Nash, any priors on Mr. Melise?
Defendant has 24 cycles. The defendant does have prior misdemeanor convictions. There was one in, the defendant received first offender treatment in 2007 out of Clayton County for battery. That's the only thing that he has similar.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's good, thank you. Ms. Duffin?
Yes, Your Honor. A surety bond has already been issued for the simple battery and $3,500. The state feels that is appropriate and that should not change. We are asking for a $5,000 surety bond for the additional charge. It's our understanding that the defendant does not have an address, so we feel that would be appropriate to ensure that he would be here and arrive back for any court or trial in this matter. And we would also ask that he have no further contact with the victim in this matter, Tiffany Rivera. Although I do believe that this was a stranger to him, I don't believe that there would be any reason for him to have contact with her. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or firearms while out on bond.
Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a simple, and I'm going to find my other sheet. Here we go. It's a simple battery case, Your Honor. And at this point, we're asking for a signature bond at an amount of $2,000 on each charge. As you will note that my client's last offense was in 2019, which was definitely not a violent crime. And at this point, Your Honor, his last offense after that was 2007, where he received first offender status. He is a high school grad. He is off work at this time. He has no way to post bond. He does have a stable address. I do have it, Your Honor. I will place it in the chat to Ms. Nash and Mr. Jordan if you need me to do that. Also, I have an email address for him as well. And so at this point, Your Honor, my client is someone that you can contact. He's a lifetime resident of the state of Georgia. He's 32 years old. Definitely wants to defend himself on these particular charges. He feels his innocence. He's innocent in these on these charges, Your Honor. We're only talking simple battery, something that happened supposedly or allegedly at the MARTA station. No real violent crime at this time. So, Your Honor, we're asking for a $2,000 signature bond on both counts.
All right, thank you. On the simple battery, it's going to be a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. On the other charge is going to be a $2,000 surety bond. This is going to be a $3,000 split bond. To stay away from all MARTA property, no further contact with Tiffany Rivera, no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. His next court date will be January 20th, 2022. Thank you.
I'll let you know whether it's.
Who are we addressing?
Mr. Weathers.
All right.
Sorry.
This is Mr. Randy Lee Weathers. Is that correct? All right. Mr. Weathers' case number is 22 CR 000-101H. Mr. Weathers, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Catrice Helen. You've been accused of criminal trespass and misdemeanor possession of marijuana from January 7th, 2022, with regards to a MARTA property. Ms. Helen?
Yes, Judge.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Ms. Nash. Forgot my train of thought for a minute. Sorry about that. Ms.
That's
Nash, sorry
okay.
about that.
The defendant has 9 cycles. The defendant does have one prior felony conviction that was in 2000 out of Cobb County for felony theft by taking. And the defendant does have misdemeanor sentences and convictions. The defendant received a nolo contendere sentence in 2015 for driving while license suspended or revoked. And that was a misdemeanor conviction in 2015 for marijuana possession less than an ounce. And there was one in 2004 for a traffic offense. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Miss Alexander, yes.
Yes, Judge, thank you so much. It appears that a bond was set, in this case, Judge, 500 good on each. The state would recommend that that bond increase to $1,000 good for the criminal trespass and $1,000 good, Your Honor, for the possession of marijuana. As the court is already aware, this is a trespassing case involving MARTA. Judge, briefly yesterday, law enforcement observed this defendant walking on the MARTA rail tracks, ignoring posted signs that indicated do not enter. As a result of this incident, the entire rail system had to be shut down in order to remove this defendant from the tracks. And of course, during the search incidents to arrest, law enforcement, of course, removed a plastic bag with green leafy substances from this defendant's right pants pocket. Judges, you've already heard from pretrial, this defendant is a convicted felon with 9 previous cycles and prior convictions. Judge, these facts clearly support this defendant being a danger to the community. This defendant, obviously, we also showing, Judge, that this is a multi-state offender. And so we do feel that this defendant poses a risk of reoffending. So for those reasons, Judge, we're asking that the bond increase with the conditions of stay away from all MARTA property. We would also ask for random drug screens and no alcohol or drugs or weapons while out on bond, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Helen?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Weathers is 39 years old. I did read that he is approved or at least recommended for unsecured judicial release through pretrial services. I did hear his history. That last misdemeanor was over 6 years ago, Judge. So I do not believe that he is a danger of reoffending. I don't believe he's a danger to the community. No one was alleged to have been hurt or anything like that. Also, Judge, when I spoke to him, he had lost all of his belongings, ID, debit card, wallet, everything. It was his judgment that he needed to get there quickly, and he thought walking on the tracks was the fastest way, Judge. So just to give you just a little insight on Mr. Weathers, why he was walking the track. Currently, he's not working, Judge, so he will not be able to afford anything more than the bond as where it's set. So, Judge, I'm asking for a signature bond as set in $1,000 total. And Judge, if you consider him not eligible for that signature bond, I would ask that it remain as set as a surety bond.
500 and 500? Is that what you
Yes.
said?
Yes, Judge.
On the criminal trespass is going to be $1,000 surety. On the misdemeanor possession is a $500 signature bond through the jail. Total bond is $1,500 split. To stay away from all MARTA property, whether it's the station, the bathroom, the parking lot, definitely the railways or the tracks, as well as any bus stations and the buses and the trains. He's not allowed to use any MARTA property. $1,500 split bond means that his bond will be $1,000 surety on the trespass and $500 signature bond through the jail on the marijuana. No illegal drugs, alcohol, and no weapons and no firearms. His next court date is going to be January 20th, 2022. If he makes bond, make sure that we have a good address so we can send him notice of when to appear in court. Yes, Mr. Weathers?
Awesome. Hey, good morning, everyone. Just to explain myself, ma'am.
Oh, wait, Mr. Weathers, you don't want to explain yourself and tell the judge you did anything, okay? So if you need to talk to me, we can do that, okay? But I pretty much told the judge what happened, okay? So I don't want you to tell anything else. If you have a procedural question, we can talk, okay?
Okay, yes, ma'am. So everyone understands, I'm a retired athlete. I did MMA for about 17 years. What that means is that is tons of punches, kicks, elbows.
Mr. Weathers, thank you very much. The case
my
is
memory.
concluded. Deputy,
Right.
thank you very much.
Patel. Patel. Position number 9.
Thank you. With Mr. Urbil J. Patel, who is accused of 2 counts of simple assault, allegedly on December 31st, 2021, in case number 22 CR 000099D. Mr. Patel, you have been advised of your right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Mr. James Sullivan. Ms. Nash, I just want to confirm that he has 2 open DUI cases. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else prior to that?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Alexander, what is your bond recommendation for Mr. Patel?
Yes, Judge, and before I go into the bond rec, I just wanted to briefly answer your question. The warrants, we do have them, and we did see them. They do appear under the jail booking screen, Judge.
Okay.
Yes, and so the state is going to recommend, Judge, 3,500 good on the simple assault, well, actually on both counts. So 3,500 good on as to count 1, 3,500 good as to count 2. Judge, with the conditions of a 1-day anger awareness class, random drug and alcohol screens, no further contact with either of the victims in this case. D. McCloskey, and that's spelled D-E-E, McCloskey, M-C-C-L-O-S-K-E-Y, and Thomas McCloskey, traditional spelling, and a stay away, Judge, from 5420 Charleston Wood Drive, Johns Creek, Georgia. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, briefly, this is a crime of violence involving another one of what appears to be defendant's violent episodes. The state is actually seeing 8 arrests in Georgia, 1 out of Louisiana. Judge, the state also does see the 2 open alcohol, DUI alcohol cases. The state obviously feels that this defendant is a danger to both the victims in this case and the community in light of this history. Obviously, the defendant bears a significant risk of reoffending, considering he does have those 2 open 2021 cases. And in one where he was actually charged with 2 counts of simple assault in that case. And I went ahead and looked that up. That's 21 CR 002588D. In that case, Judge, concerned citizens called police when they witnessed the defendant recklessly driving through the Starbucks parking lot, appearing to be intoxicated, but he was yelling at pedestrians, revved his engine against one of the victims, and nearly hit the other victim, Judge. So there does seem to be some anger issues there. We are seeing an FTA in his history, Judge. So the state obviously feels that this defendant poses a significant flight risk. And so we do feel, Judge, that a good bond is appropriate in this case in light of the history, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan?
Good afternoon, Judge. Bear with me. I've been diagnosed with COVID. I do have symptoms, and one of the ironic side effects is I've lost quite a bit of my hearing. So bear with me today. This incident occurred on December 31st. Is a neighbor, and I think it resulted for something dealing with Mr. Patel's dog. I think the conditions of no alcohol and random screens is appropriate. It might be difficult to have the no contact provision because they're neighbors. So we would ask that be no violent contact or limited contact at the very least, and that he be given a signature bond. And Your Honor, his 2 open cases are assigned to Judge Edline. They are moving through the process. They should be reassigned to a virtual calendar in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure this case will be looks like it's assigned to accused and assigned to Judge Edline as well, and we will hopefully resolve all these shortly.
All right. Well, if you plan to arraign your case and waive your arraignment in this particular matter, please go ahead and submit all the necessary documents to Judge Edline.
Yes, Your Honor.
In the meantime, based on the information I have so far, when you say neighbors, are they adjacent? One seems to be 5420, the other one's 5435. So
Judge, I don't have that information. It's my understanding they're essentially next door neighbors.
They're adjacent.
Yes. So.
All right. Bond on each count is going to be 2,500. That's a $5,000 surety bond. He is to have no further contact with Tom and Dee McCloskey. He's to stay 200, well, I'm not sure since they're adjacent. If they happen to be outside the house, he cannot be outside. And if he happens to be outside and they come out, he needs to go back into his garage or into his home and or leave immediately. That's the best I can do in terms of no further contact. He is not to communicate with them in any way, form, or manner. No in-person communication. Definitely no indirect communication through a phone, through a computer device, through a third party or through any kind of social media platform. If he engages in any kind of direct or indirect communication, all they have to do is report it to the police. He will be arrested and brought back to jail, and then we'll clear it up. Understood? No illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, no weapons, and no firearms. Thank you. Oh, next court date, Mr. Sullivan, is going to be January 20th, 2022. That is still going to be with the presiding judge, either me or Judge Morrow or one of our JOs. So if you plan to have an appearance directly before Judge Edline, you would have to make a request directly with the division.
Yes, Your Honor. I expect that he'd be able to make bond before that court date.
All right. Just remember, he needs to comply with the conditions of the bond. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, Mr. Sullivan, I hope you feel much, much better soon. And, you know, if your wife speaks to you, make sure she's on the left side of you. That's what my husband would say. All right. You take care.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Judge.
Deputy, may we have our next case, please?
Position 10.
We have Mr. Udit Sharma, accused of simple battery domestic violence from January 7th, 2022. Mr. Sharma, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your counsel is Ms. Catrice Helen. Mr. Sharma has been accused of simple battery domestic violence, and I do see the alleged victim is also present. I will address you, Ms. Srimali, shortly, but at the present time, Ms. Nash, any priors on Mr. Sharma?
No, Your Honor, the defendant does not have any prior arrests on file.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Alexander, what's your bond recommendation?
Yes, Judge, the state is going to recommend a $2,000 good bond in this case with conditions of a one-day anger awareness, no further contact with this victim, Anima Shrimali, a stay away, Judge, from 1014 Legacy Oaks Circle, Roswell, Georgia, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Judge, despite this being the defendant's first arrest, or what appears to be the first arrest as far as the state can tell, this is, of course, a crime of violence involving a defendant that struck his bride all in the face while she was carrying their child, Judge. Clearly, this defendant serves as a danger to the victim, does pose a risk of witness intimidation. Those reasons, Judge, we do feel that a good bond is appropriate. I am seeing that the victim is on Zoom, but I will say that we anticipate the victim to want further contact and to have a stay away not issued. The problem with that, Judge, is the state feels is that firstly, there has been no cooling off period. And secondly, in the facts of this very case, Judge, he, walked away, came back to basically have that cooling off period. And then subsequent to that, that's when he actually struck her and gave rise to the instant case, Judge. So we feel that there's been no cooling off period, Judge. And so that's why we are advocating for no further contact and a stay away in this matter.
All right, thank you. Ms. Helen?
Yes, Judge. Mr. Sharma is 33 years old, and as you've read the warrant, Judge, you know that these are allegations. Miss Amina, or I believe I'm pronouncing that correct, is on the line. I haven't spoken to her, but it is the contention that she wants him to return back to the 1014 Legacy Oak Circle, and that she does not believe that he's a danger or any type of violent harm towards her. Judge, yes, this is his first arrest, so I do believe that he is recommended for unsecured judicial release through pretrial. Currently, he does not have income, Judge. He does not have a work visa while he's here in Georgia. He does have an independent visa to live here, Judge. His wife does have a work visa, so he won't be able to afford a bond modification as the state has recommended. So that's why we're asking first for a signature bond, and then, Judge, if not, then a surety bond of no more than $750, again, because he has no income. He has a Bachelor of Technology, Judge. He also has a location to live if he's not able to return to that address, but we are hoping he's able to return to 1014. They do share one daughter who is 3 years old. So he would like to return to the home and to his family, Judge.
Is it Miss Anima Shrimali?
Yeah, that's me.
All right, Ms. Shrimali, my name is Judge Lal, and if you'd like to contribute to the proceedings, I would have to place you under oath. If you
Yes.
please raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
All right. In terms of residency, are you all on some kind of H-1B or H-4?
Right. Yeah, we are on H1B.
Who has the H-1B?
I do have H1B.
And he's on the H-4?
Yeah, for now.
For now, okay. So putting that matter aside, what would you like to tell me?
So he has been amazing husband and father since almost 10 years we are married and 14 years of our dating. He has never struck or lay hand or anything on that episode ever. So we had an argument and he unintentionally, that was not his intention, which I know since I'm with a person 14 years. So he unintentionally pushed me and I was in the heat of the moment already we had an argument. So I just called the police, and since they came, I did told them that I don't wish to report any charges or anything because it's just, I know that it's unintentional. And in the heat of the moment, I felt he's intentionally doing it. But since I know and living with this person since 15 years, and this kind of episode has never happened, so I'm 100% sure that it's not his intention. And even after that, he was already like upset about us, like how we are behaving. So he did said, okay, I hit, because I was saying that. So in that moment, like we all were just dealing with this situation. So we just said like, okay, yeah, because that's the reason I called. So I cannot just deny that it had happened. But the intention behind that slight push was not intentional, and it was in between of my dining table and my other stuff. So I felt that it is dangerous, or he should be more thoughtful of his action. So I didn't
Ms.
thought or
Shrimali, Ms. Shrimali, you are under oath. Have anything like this happened in the past?
no, it
All
has
right.
never happened.
Are you comfortable with him coming home?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And do you have an immigration attorney?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm sure he or she will recommend to you that not only with Homeland Security, but also the U.S. Consulate will, once these charges are recorded, that they will be aware of this case.
Yes.
So if Mr. Sharma does not comply with the conditions and ends up in jail, he's going to jeopardize his ability to remain in this country. Do you understand?
Yes, I do
All
completely.
right. Thank you very much. The simple battery domestic violence is 3,500. Is a signature bond through pretrial services. He is to have no further violent contact with Anima Shrimali. He may return to the marital home. While he's out on bond, he will complete a 6-month domestic violence intervention program at his expense. And he must begin that program within 30 days of being released from the Fulton County Jail. He is to not consume any illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, report to pretrial once a month. He's not allowed to have any possession of any weapons or any firearms. He is not to travel outside of the United States unless he has a court order allowing him to travel. Do you understand, Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
You would need to speak to your attorney and get them to modify the bond to allow you to travel if it's warranted. Once you're released, you also need to reapply with the Public Defender's Office to see if you qualify for their services. If you do not, you would need to hire your own attorney. Any questions, Mr. Sharma?
No.
If there is any future physical or verbal altercation and the police get involved, unfortunately, Mr. Sharma will be rearrested and his bond could either convert to a cash bond or a surety bond, or it may be even increased. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right. Any questions, Ms. Shrimali?
No.
Okay, thank you. That concludes this case.
How much was the bond, Your Honor?
3,500 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you. Could I go back to one, Mr. Patel? What was his bond, Your Honor?
Mr. Patel was 2,500 on each count. It's a 5,000 surety bond. Reset date is January 20th, 2022. Is Mr. Hugh Dedricus, am I saying that right?
Yes,
Hewley present?
he is.
All right, is that it?
That would be him right here, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rockwell? Is that your client?
Yes, I think it is. I'm
Oh.
trying to get in touch with his daughter. This happened
Angela
apparently.
Hewley?
Angel, yes, Judge.
Yeah,
And
okay.
this happened December
Yes.
of 20. So I didn't know if the prosecutor or if Your Honor wanted to hear from the victim, but they've been in constant contact since
All right.
the incident. I don't know if anybody even realized this was going on, but anyway.
Well,
So
let's see what's going on. Mr. Hewley, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Renee Rockwell. Your case number is 22 CR 000104G. This is a newly accused case based on an incident from
who does
December
G
10th.
for, Judge?
I'm sorry?
Who does G stand for? Judge G.
I don't know. Mr. Jordan, do you know which division is Judge G?
Judge Mather.
Judge John Mather. Okay, all right. Mr. Hewley is
Oh, okay.
accused of.
I was
Mr.
just
Hewley
making a
is
mental note.
Okay, Mr. Hewley is accused of criminal trespass causing damage to property. And Ms. Harrison, excuse me, Ms. Nash, do you have any prior convictions for Mr. Hewley?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has 48 cycles. The defendant does appear to have open probation cases. Do you want me to read them out, or?
Just any convictions from the last 5 years?
The only thing he has in the last 5 years are some misdemeanor convictions. It was one in 2018 for driving without a valid license, and one in 2016 for simple battery.
All right, thank you. Ms. Duffett or Ms. Alexander? Is it Ms. Duffett?
It's mine,
All
Your
right.
Honor. The state would be asking for a $7,500 surety bond. The case was accused on the warrant. Since then, I have received the incident report that I did share with Ms. Rockwell as well via email. The incident report does have more information about this, where there is an allegation that a gun was involved, and that the defendant did make a statement to the victim, who is his daughter, regarding the victim's boyfriend that also overheard the statement. There also was an allegation that he potentially struck her with his vehicle. So again, the state would be asking for a $7,500 surety bond, that he have no further contact with Angel Hewley. We have not had contact with her, and that he stay away from the incident location, which is 1375 Northside Drive, Northwest, Atlanta, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or firearms while out on bond. He does have 49 cycles. I know the court was just advised there is a simple battery within the last 5 years, so that is concerning as well. And although this did happen in 2020, it has been on a warrant since then, I believe. So again, we would ask for a good bond in this case.
All right. And Ms. Duffett, if you could forward the information that you had, the documents that you forwarded to the public defender's office to Ms. Rockwell as well. Ms. Rockwell, if you could place your email in the chat.
Judge, we have an existing wonderful relationship, Madam Prosecutor and I. She sent me some information. I'm sure she'll send me anything I need.
All right, well, Ms. Duffett, then you have a direct line to Ms. Rockwell then. All right, thank you. Okay.
Is it
yes,
is
Ms.
it my
Rockwell.
turn, Judge?
Yes, it is.
Judge, he is let me just say this. I've just been dealing with him, and he's been in jail for a little while because we had to go deal with some very.
I'm sorry, your audio just cut out, Ms. Rockwell. We have no audio.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I just dealt with some very old probation matters from 2010 and 15. And I did not realize, nobody realized that he had these matters from 2020. I would just ask the court to consider, and I just reached out to the family to ask Angel to call me because we didn't realize that this was something pending. Do you want me to stand down for a little while, Judge?
Oh, your audio went out
When
again.
I can bring Angel.
Well, have you spoken to the victim and does she want contact with him?
I can't state in my place that I've spoken with her about this, Judge. We've all been in prayer meetings over these probation violations from 2010 and 15. We didn't realize this was going to pop up. He just made his bonds, his probation bond. The judge set a probation bond on a 2010 case because the state wasn't ready to go forward on it. So we got a probation bond, and then this case popped up. So why don't I do this? I think I'd feel better about at least trying to get in touch with Angel and getting her in the Zoom link if I could, or having some contact with her.
That'll be fine.
And then I'll join back in. Oh, can somebody, Stephanie, will you email me the Zoom link? The deputy was good enough to give it to me together with the password, but I didn't commit it to memory.
I'll forward it to you now.
Thank you so much, Judge. I'll
All right,
stand down till I can come back.
Deputy, we'll come back to Mr. Rodriguez. Do we have any other cases in the courtroom?
Your Honor, this is the last case.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, let me do this.
Ms. Rockwell, I'm going to set a bond at $1,000 surety bond, considering the age of the case and considering his other outstanding charges. No further contact with Angel Hewley and stay away from 1375 Northside Drive. No drugs.
Let me just ask him.
Yes.
What address is that, Rodriguez?
That was my hotel room.
Oh, well, can you stay away from that hotel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Judge, I'll just get with Madam Prosecutor and with you if I can get with Angel and all that, just because I'm not going to ask the court to go on a supposition that it's going to all be okay. I'll get with Madam Prosecutor if I could just convince Madam Prosecutor that he's not going to be a danger to her or her tires or her vehicle, and then we'll get back with Your Honor. Thank you, Judge.
Sounds perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rockwell. All right, that concludes the calendar. I think we've addressed
Judge, my
everything.
apologies. Position 11, Judge.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
For Suliman Barker, positions 1 and 2, he's got a $15,000 good bond on position 1 and a 500 signature bond through the jail on position 2. His reset date's January 20th. Position 3 is a $3,000 signature bond pre-trial. 4 is a $1,000 signature bond pre-trial. 5 is a $2,500 signature bond pre-trial. Position 6 is Mr. Hewley's $1,000 good bond. I'm going to reset it to January 20th, but he may make bond considering he's already made the other $30,000 on the other case. Position 7 is a $3,000 split bond, reset date January 20th. Position 8, Ivan Morris. That's a COVID reset to January 10th at 2 p.m. Position 9 is a $5,000 surety bond, reset January 20th. Mr. Sharma is a $3,500 signature bond through pretrial. Position 11, Philip Lee Simmons. Any announcements from the defense attorney or?
Judge, that defendant bonded out of jail.
Okay, so he's released? All right.
Oh, okay.
And position 12, Mr. Weathers is a $1,500 split bond. Reset date January 20th. All right. All right, Ms. Dufford, yes, Mr. Jordan?
Would you say the bond was for position 1?
Position one is a $1,000 surety bond, 500 on each count.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, Ms. Dufford, if Ms. Rockwell reaches out to you and y'all reach some kind of resolution of the bond conditions, all y'all have to do is submit a proposed consent order. And you can email that directly to Mr. Michael Jordan.
Will do. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, everyone, enjoy your weekend. We will see some of you on January 10th at our last Apollo plea and arraignment calendar until further notice.
See you, Judge.
We have one on the
24th.
So we're
Your
not
Honor.
having Apollo on the 20th, then the 10th is the last one?
Oh,
sorry.
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
No,
well,
we-
it's the
we
last
have
one
two.
with me. Let's put it that way.
The 24th.
The 24th, right, okay. so
That's
we have
another
two
one,
more.
24th, but this is the
Okay.
last one with me.
Well, then I'll see you at tomorrow's judge, at Monday's judge.
Monday, give me a day of rest.
Yes,
please.
all right.
Okay.
Mr.
Good
I just want to
evening,
know,
everyone.
Your Honor, I just want to know, did Mr. Jordan, did you get the address for Mr. Hill in the chat?
I did. Was there another address you were supposed to send me? I did get the one for Hill.
No, there was, no, that thing, he received the signature, but I don't think there was another address.
Okay.
All right, folks, y'all be good. Take care.
All
Bye-bye.
right, thank you.
All right.